The We're Here For You project aims to provide 2S LGBTQ+ youth with community, affirmation, education, and resource sharing.
Hi there, I'm a queer Latin person here to talk to you for a little bit today. I want to start by saying that you deserve to be yourself because your identity is so valid and very important. I'd like to answer some questions today that I've gotten. The first one is, what are some of your favorite 2S LGBTQ+ positive TV shows, movies, novels, or songs? One of my favorite shows is called One Day at a Time. When I mentioned this, there's actually 2 shows by this name. The original show came out quite a while ago, but here I'm discussing the remake, the newer version that started out on Netflix and then made its way to network TV. This show features a Cuban American family who has a queer daughter, and this daughter has a significant other. The show discusses different topics in relatable, thoughtful, and quirky ways, and they have episodes that will discuss things including coming out, having mental health struggles, and being bilingual. I'm also a fan of the web series Carmilla, which is very queer friendly, and you can watch it for free on YouTube. They also ended up making a movie that sort of continued the story from the YouTube series. In Carmilla, this follows the story of Laura, a first-year university student who goes away to university, and it turns out that her new roommate ends up being a vampire. The series is really funny, and because a lot of its episodes are super short, I found it really easy to watch only one episode at a time, if that's the kind of mood I was in that day. Or if I wanted a bit of a longer viewing session, it was pretty easy to just watch the entire season in one night. In terms of books, I really like the book Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda, as well as its sequel called Leah on the Offbeat. The first book follows Simon as he comes to terms with his gay identity, as well as all his struggles that he's having as a high school student, while the second book focuses on Simon's friend Leah, who is also in his friend group and goes to the same high school, and she's bisexual. Both of the books are very sweet stories, very charming, and I found that since I always wanted to know what was going to happen next in the story, I ended up reading them very quickly. The book that follows Simon more closely also has a movie adaptation called Love, Simon, and although I really did like the movie, I did prefer the book and how the book followed his story and all of his thoughts and feelings. All of these shows, books, and movies are also good pieces of media I find to teach others about what being 2S LGBTQ+ can mean, and they all help to show how diverse the community is. The next question is, when your fellow 2S LGBTQ+ community members are struggling, what have you found helpful when it comes to supporting them? In my experience, I found that just spending time with my fellow community members is really helpful. I think that sometimes just letting somebody know that they're welcome to come talk to me and I'm here to listen to them and that I care about them can really help them through their struggles. I think that this can even be the case because sometimes if somebody's going through a hard time and is struggling, even if they do want just some time alone to cope with whatever they're going through, just knowing that they have the option of reaching out to somebody for support can be very helpful. The next question is, what would a 2S LGBTQ+ person who is from your specific identity group want to hear? In my case, as a Latin and Hispanic queer person, I think that someone else from that identity group might want to hear that their identity is always valid and always deserves to be respected. I think that this is true even if this includes quote-unquote non-traditional ways of expressing yourself, and this can include creating new pronouns or new linguistic ways of referring to yourself. I think this is really true because in Spanish, there isn't really a universally accepted way to refer to people in a gender neutral or gender inclusive way. And in this way, newer pronouns and newer expressions can be a really great way for many people to refer to themselves in a way that they find more affirming and more comfortable. The next question is, can you share with us an example of what you would have liked to hear when sharing your gender identity or your sexual orientation with somebody for the first time? For me, hearing that the person still loved me and was proud of me would have been nice to hear, as well as them telling me that they were happy that I felt comfortable trusting them with that kind of personal information. I'd say that that was especially true when I was still younger and still kind of coming to terms with my identity and becoming more comfortable with it. But now I'm much more open and comfortable about it. Nowadays, I'm more happy when others just react by saying something like, "Oh, okay," and they just accept it without us needing to have a longer discussion. And I think that in any case, following the lead of the person sharing their identity is a good approach, as well as just trying to make sure that they feel supported. Anything that somebody can do to make that clear, I think, is a really good approach. Now, I'd like to thank all of you for listening to me today, and I'd also like to tell you that you are all so important and that you make this community more vibrant and more interesting. I'd also like to remind you that the LGBT YouthLine is there for Ontarian 2S LGBTQ+ youth from Sunday to Friday, and they're open from 4 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please reach out to them if you or a loved one would like some support. Thank you.